Is the situation in the Middle East escalating or de-escalating? On the one hand, we've just had Donald Trump put out this post on Truth Social as a thank you note to Iran, suggesting that things are becoming quite peaceful and tensions are reducing. But on the other hand, we've just had Israel issue evacuation orders for parts of Tehran to get people out of harm's way, which strongly suggests that things are about to heat up. So, as you were probably aware, we have had today Iran responding to the US's attack on their nuclear facilities by going after US bases in the Middle East. Now, after the attack on the nuclear facilities by Donald Trump, he sent a very strong warning and said, the biggest bully in the Middle East, Iran, they must make peace now. If they don't, if they retaliate, if they go after especially our guys, our US soldiers, there's going to be trouble. But anyway, Iran did respond, and it seems like they're not calming down, and they're going to attack all of these American military bases in the Middle East. And we had an attack in Qatar. There were big sounds of explosions in Qatar where they were attacking a US base there, which would make you think that things are really heating up. But then Donald Trump put out this Truth Social post, which says Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, he says, which we expected and have very effectively countered. There have been 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and 1 was set free because it was headed in a non-threatening direction. I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald Trump, President of the United States. So that is what Donald Trump has said. So Iran has retaliated, but Iran has done this in the past, where they've retaliated because they think, well, we have to. If someone strikes us, it's just that's the way that war works. You have to do something in response. But they've actually informed the enemy, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this little missile strike to make it look like we're doing something, but you guys get your people out the way. We're not really going to do much harm. We're not really going to try and kill your guys. Apparently, Qatar is actually saying that they weren't informed in advance, even though Trump says that they were. But I'm skeptical of that because in Qatar, they have had nobody harmed, nobody injured. We're not just talking about Americans here, the Qataris, nobody's been harmed, nobody's been injured. Miraculously, everyone was able to get out of the way of this. I mean, it was not in a highly populated civilian area. This military base was somewhere quite remote, but yeah, it doesn't seem like much damage has been done. And from the sound, I highly doubt Donald Trump would have said, thank you, Iran, for informing us of this attack in advance if they actually hadn't told anyone. So he also has tweeted, I'd like to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for all that he has done in seeking peace for the region. Regarding the attack today at the American base in Qatar, I am pleased to report that in addition to no Americans being killed or wounded, very importantly, there have also been no Qataris killed or wounded. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Apparently, the Qataris were considering a counterattack on Iran for sending missiles their way, but Iran are trying to be very clear that this was specifically just an attack on the US military bases. This was not an attack on Qatar to try and prevent that retaliation, but we will see what has happened. Now, James Matthews, the Sky News US correspondent, has put out a little analysis of what Donald Trump has said, and he suggests that this is very much a de-escalating message that is promoting peace. He says, I think what Donald Trump has posted is peace. That's how peace is delivered these days. And in this cycle of violence, in a tit-for-tat situation, the question has been all day, what would America do? How would it react to this Iranian attack? And I think you have from Donald Trump there your answer. There is nothing in this post that suggests he is on the verge of furthering this conflict. Everything reads to me like a president who feels that the job is done. So that's interesting. You've got Donald Trump there almost suggesting that the job is done, and hopefully things won't escalate further. But there's this big question about, is Trump going to push further for regime change in Iran? Israel are still striking Iran. We've just had, I think yesterday, or this morning, the news that Iran, another big thing that they've done is they've blown the doors off of the prison in Iran, very infamous prison where people are tortured and treated absolutely horribly. People would be thrown in there for, let's say you're a woman and you show your hair in public. They've blown the doors off that so that the prisoners can escape from there. Israel is still trying to dismantle the regime. I'm not sure Trump will get involved in that kind of action, but will he support it? Or will he try and encourage Israel to stop here, let the IRGC stay in power in Iran so long as they don't have a nuclear weapon, just leave them be? I think Israel, their actions do suggest, they're on the brink of dismantling the IRGC. And loads of Iranians are sending messages to Israel saying, please, please, get these guys out of power. We want to be free. We want freedom. We want to live in a free society again. So we'll see what happens. But whether Donald Trump will get involved in that, I raised this because Donald Trump put out a Truth Social post yesterday night saying, well, maybe there doesn't need to be regime change in Iran, but if they can't make Iran great again, maybe there should be. And he put out the acronym MIGA, Make Iran Great Again. So kind of suggesting that he is actually in favour of regime change, even though in the morning his team were all saying, nope, we've got no interest in regime change. That's not what our attack was about. Our attack was simply about the nuclear facilities with no intention to pursue any further matters regarding regime change. So a bit of confusion about what the Trump administration really wants to achieve here, just destroying the nuclear capabilities or regime change. But I think Israel, they recognise they're on the brink of dismantling that regime, and I think that they will keep pushing. So as I said, Israel has decided to issue a evacuation order for part of Tehran. And the fact that Israel has just put out an evacuation order for part of Tehran suggests this very much is not over. We are not at the point of achieving peace in the Middle East. They are going to continue to strike. So they've put out a warning to residents of part of Tehran to evacuate. This will be a surprise to some of the lefty pro-Palestine idiots that thinks that Israel doesn't bother to tell anyone to get out the way and that they're just trying to kill as many civilians as possible. That is not the case. Israel is doing everything they can to get civilians out of harm's way. They're being very, very targeted in their approach to try and go after the military, top commanders, state infrastructure that's crucial for the functioning of the IRGC. They want the civilians to be out of the way. They put up a post and a map of the evacuation centre, of the evacuation zone, saying that the IDF will be operating in the area, saying, dear citizens, for your safety and well-being, we kindly request that you immediately evacuate the specified area on the map and avoid approaching it in the coming hours. So there we go. That is the latest. Looks like the rain of missiles over the Middle East is not going to be stopping, but it looks like Trump's involvement may be coming to an end. But let me know in the comments what you think will happen. Will Trump get involved and help the Israelis to dismantle the IRGC? And do you think that should happen, or do you think that they should all call it quits here now that the nuclear facilities have been mostly wiped out? Anyway, I'm Dobbs. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Reasoned if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any more videos.